Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. Michael Gallup's story has taken a turn few could have expected just months ago. After being cut by the Dallas Cowboys and signing briefly with the Las Vegas Raiders, the former third-round pick was emotionally and mentally drained. The game he once loved had become a burden, and walking away seemed like the only answer. But time away from football has a funny way of reminding players what they're missing. Gallup, now 28, found that spark again, not from watching film or hearing from old teammates, but through the silence of retirement. The itch to compete returned, louder and more persistent than ever. So when the Washington Commanders came calling, he didn't hesitate. With a new coaching regime led by Dan Quinn, a man who prioritizes performance over past reputation, Gallup saw opportunity. Now in camp, he's turning heads. Not as a nostalgic name trying to hold on, but as a man with unfinished business and something real to prove. Training camp has always been a battleground, but for Gallup, it's become something more, a resurrection. While the roster math isn't in his favor, especially in a WR room that includes stars like Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel Sr., Gallup isn't playing like someone content with being a camp body. Every rep he takes, every route he runs, there's a fire behind it. Coaches see it, teammates feel it, and fans are starting to believe. After missing minicamp with a hamstring issue, many expected Gallup to fall behind quickly. But instead of letting that setback define him, he used it as fuel. His roots have been crisp, his hands sure, and his physicality unmistakable. He's not the fastest guy on the field anymore, but he's playing smart, tough football. Exactly the kind of football Dan Quinn respects. In a camp full of youth and uncertainty, Gallup's veteran presence is turning into a real asset. What makes Gallup's resurgence even more compelling is the crowded nature of the Commanders' receiver room, with McLaurin still working out. His contract situation, and Samuel Sr. practically locked in, the battle behind them is intense. Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey are young and versatile, and Noah Brown brings consistency. That realistically leaves one, maybe two spots open. Every practice rep matters. Every preseason snap could be decisive. And yet Gallup is making it difficult for the coaching staff to ignore him. It's not just what he does on the field, but how he's carrying himself. There's a sense of calm confidence, like a man who knows what it takes to play at this level and isn't afraid to grind for another shot. The locker room respects that. Quinn and Kingsbury certainly do. And while fans may be surprised to see Gallup in the mix this deep into camp, those watching up close know he's earned every look. One of the more overlooked aspects of Gallup's comeback is how smoothly he's meshed with the Commanders' quarterback group. Whether it's starter Jaden Daniels or backups working through rotations, Gallup has found a way to create chemistry. That's not something you can fake or manufacture. It comes from experience, football IQ, and hours of reps. His timing on slants and comebacks has been nearly flawless. On deep routes, he's shown he can still track the ball with the best of them. But maybe more importantly, Gallup has embraced a mentorship role. Young receivers like McCaffrey and Lane have spoken openly about how much they've learned just from watching him work. That kind of leadership can be quantified on a stat sheet, but in a locker room building a new identity under Quinn, it's invaluable. Gallup's ability to contribute both on and off the field might be what ultimately separates him from the rest. Still, for Gallup to lock down a spot, the next few weeks will be critical. Joint practices are coming, followed by 3 preseason games that will make or break fringe roster hopefuls. Gallup knows the stakes. Every dropped ball, every missed block, every misstep could be the difference between playing on Sundays or watching from home. But so far, he's been about as dependable as they come. He stayed after practice to work on timing. He's been in the film room breaking down coverage tendencies. He's been everything the Commanders hoped he could be when they brought him in. And more importantly, he hasn't let the noise or pressure derail him. This is a man on a mission, and his actions are speaking louder than any press conference or quote ever could. He's not campaigning for sympathy. He's earning respect and possibly a job. The path ahead won't be easy. Gallup is battling against players with fresher legs and recent momentum. Ja'Cory Brooks, the undrafted free agent, has made a few plays that turned heads. KJ Osborne is another name in the mix with a reliable NFL resume. Chris Moore and Mike Strachan have their moments too. Every one of them has a legitimate case, and roster spots are brutally finite. It's the harsh truth of the NFL. Talent alone isn't enough. You need timing, opportunity, and a bit of luck. But what Gallup has shown so far is that he won't go down quietly. He's forcing the coaches to think long and hard about their decisions. If someone's going to beat him out, they'll have to play nearly perfect football the rest of camp. That's the kind of tension and intensity that elevates a team. And for Washington, having that level of competition can only be a good thing. Gallup's comeback is also a personal triumph, a reminder of what passion and perseverance look like in a league that moves fast and forgets even faster. Few people return from walking away, especially at a position where age and injury compound quickly. But Gallup didn't come back just to wear a jersey. He came back to contribute, and he's reminding everyone why he was once one of the most promising receivers in the NFC East. His ability to win contested catches, absorb contact, and play through pain is all still there. Time has weathered his body, but it hasn't dulled his will. In fact, it may have sharpened it. He's no longer chasing numbers or contracts. He's chasing peace of mind, the satisfaction of knowing he gave everything he had. And that kind of motivation, when paired with talent, is dangerous for defenses, for doubters, and for anyone standing in his way. As the Commanders look to build on last year's surprise playoff run, having seasoned players like Gallup could make the difference. Between just getting there and actually contending, young receivers bring energy and upside, but veterans bring reliability. Gallup knows how to run a 2-minute drill, how to find a soft spot in zone coverage, how to read a safety's hips and adjust mid-route. Those are things you can't teach quickly. In high-pressure moments, on third downs, in red zones, in close games, coaches want guys they can trust. If Gallup can stay healthy and keep stacking good practices and strong performances, he'll put himself squarely in that conversation. And while fans might debate stats or potential, coaches are looking for someone who won't flinch when the lights are brightest. So far, Gallup's proving he still has that clutch gene. That could end up being his ticket to staying in the league. Ultimately, Gallup's future with the Commanders is still undecided. There are practices left, preseason games to be played, and decisions to be made in dark film rooms late into the night. But what's clear is this: Gallup isn't just another name on the roster. He's a storyline, a test of resilience, a symbol of how quickly things can change in the NFL and how much hard it takes to fight your way back. Whether he makes this team or not, his presence in camp has already made an impact. He's raised the level of competition, he's inspired younger players, and he's reminded everyone that football isn't just about youth or hype, it's about hunger. And right now, few players in the league are hungrier than Michael Gallup. That hunger may just earn him a spot, or at the very least a second chapter in a league that rarely gives out second chances. And if Michael Gallup does manage to land on the Commanders' final 53-man roster, it'll be one of the best comeback stories of the year. Not because he lit up the stat sheet or made highlight reel plays, but because he refused to fade away. He embraced the grind, respected the process, and proved once again that he belongs. That kind of perseverance resonates far beyond the locker room. Fans love a redemption arc, but players, they respect it on a deeper level. Gallup's journey is a masterclass in humility, focus, and belief. No matter where this season takes him, whether in Washington or elsewhere, he's already reminded the football world of who he is: a competitor, a professional, and most of all, a fighter. That fight might just be what sets him apart in the final evaluation. One thing's for sure, Michael Gallup is not going away quietly, and everyone in Washington is taking notice. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Donald Trump has once again sparked a whirlwind of controversy and speculation across the sports and political landscapes by bringing up the Washington Commanders in a recent social media post that quickly went viral. The former president never want to shy away from the spotlight or a polarizing opinion, made what seemed like an offhand remark about the NFL franchise during an appearance on a conservative podcast, and within hours, the internet was ablaze. A comment? Trump hinted at being very interested in the Commanders and claimed that the team's current trajectory was a disaster under woke ownership. While the sports world was initially caught off guard, the political world was far from surprised. For Trump, blending politics with pop culture and now sports is par for the course. But the specificity of this comment has led fans, analysts, and insiders to speculate. Could Trump be angling for something more concrete with the Commanders? Ownership, influence, or just a media distraction? And what's truly fascinating here is how quickly Trump's statements spiraled into trending topics across all major platforms. Within hours of his appearance, Trump Commanders was a top hashtag on X, formerly Twitter, and clips of his remarks were being shared, dissected, and reinterpreted by pundits from all corners of the political and sports spectrum. Some laughed it off as just another Trump soundbite designed to rile people up. Others, especially inside DC sports circles, are not so sure. The Washington Commanders, a franchise with a complex recent history, from name changes to ownership. Controversies seems like an odd topic for Trump to suddenly champion unless there's something bubbling beneath the surface. Trump, after all, has long had an interest in football, having once owned the New Jersey Generals in the USFL. Could this be his long-awaited comeback to the football business? Or was it just another headline-grabbing moment from a man who's mastered the art of staying relevant? Behind the scenes, whispers have begun circulating that Trump has been in contact with several wealthy figures in sports investment circles, individuals who have shown interest in minority stakes in NFL teams. This might sound far-fetched to some, but those familiar with how Trump operates know that he rarely makes public comments without a larger strategy in play. According to anonymous sources close to NFL franchise dealings, Trump has previously expressed frustration at being shut out of the league and might see the turmoil around the Commanders' ownership transition as a window of opportunity. With the team's new leadership still finding its footing after the Dan Snyder era, there may be just enough instability for a bold, high-profile figure like Trump to insert himself into the narrative. It's important to note that no formal talks or offers have been confirmed, but the rumors alone have lit up forums, podcasts, and morning sports talk shows like wildfire. Even more intriguing is the reaction, or rather the lack thereof, from the Commanders organization. Typically quick to issue statements on controversies or high-profile mentions, the team has remained entirely silent on Trump's comments. No clarifications, no denials, and certainly no confirmations. This silence has only fanned the flames of speculation. Some believe the Commanders are being cautious, not wanting to politicize their brand even further. Others think they're simply caught off guard and unsure how to proceed. After all, aligning with Trump could mean alienating a large portion of the fan base, while publicly distancing themselves might ignite backlash from his massive supporter base. It's a lose-lose PR situation, and perhaps that's exactly what Trump wanted. By throwing the Commanders into his media storm, he forces them into a position where every move is scrutinized and politicized. Interestingly, former players and staff affiliated with the team have started to weigh in, and opinions are as divided as you'd expect. Some have praised Trump's boldness and said that the Commanders need someone with real backbone to shake things up. Others have warned that injecting politics into a locker room is a recipe for disaster. On ESPN's First Take, Stephen A. Smith addressed the issue head-on, saying Trump's name doesn't belong anywhere near an NFL franchise. Meanwhile, other voices in the media, particularly from conservative outlets, have floated the idea that Trump's business acumen could be just what a franchise like the Commanders needs to return to its former glory, with stadium plans still up in the air and a fan base desperate for stability. The idea of a high-profile intervention, no matter how controversial, suddenly doesn't seem that outlandish to some corners of the football world. The NFL itself, however, may have the final word. Under current league policies, any prospective ownership or investment requires approval from 3/4 of the team owners, a hurdle that would be especially difficult for Trump to clear, given his polarizing political status and past legal and troubles. Still, the fact that his name is even being mentioned in the same breath as NFL ownership is testament to the bizarre overlap between sports, politics, and celebrity culture in today's America. Some analysts have speculated that this entire episode could be nothing more than a trial balloon, a way for Trump to test public reaction before making any real moves. If so, the response has been louder than anyone expected. Whether that noise translates into actual power or just more media attention remains to be seen, but the buzz is undeniably real and growing by the hour. Adding yet another twist to the story, some online sleuths have noticed unusual patterns in Trump's recent campaign stops. Several have taken place in cities with NFL franchises struggling either with performance or ownership questions, including Washington, D.C., of course. While this might be pure coincidence, conspiracy-minded fans and political observers are connecting the dots. Could Trump be laying the groundwork for some kind of football-related initiative as part of his broader campaign strategy? Or is he simply using sports as a backdrop to appear more relatable to everyday Americans? It wouldn't be the first time a political figure tried to leverage the emotional pull of sports to gain favor. But in Trump's case, the idea that he might seriously attempt to buy into an NFL team feels both absurd and strangely plausible at the same time. Even sportsbooks have taken notice. Several online betting platforms have begun offering odds on Donald Trump becoming part owner of an NFL team, with the Washington Commanders being the clear frontrunner. While these kinds of novelty bets are typically designed for entertainment rather than serious speculation, the fact that they even exist shows how mainstream this rumor has become. People are not just talking, they're placing money on it. This in itself contributes to the echo chamber effect. Media coverage fuels public interest, which fuels more coverage. And with Trump's uncanny ability to keep the spotlight on himself, the line between stunt and strategy gets blurrier every day. The Commanders may have thought their drama ended with the sale of the team last year, but if this rumor keeps growing, they could find themselves right back at the center of a national spectacle. Meanwhile, current players on the Commanders roster are reportedly amused but unfazed by the rumors. According to an unnamed team source, most of the locker room sees it as just another wild headline in the chaos of the NFL offseason. Yet even among those brushing it off, there's a noticeable curiosity. What if Trump really is serious? What would that mean for the team, the brand, the fans? Some younger players who grew up during Trump's presidency see his involvement as a double-edged sword. Massive media attention could bring endorsements and exposure, but it could also mean non-stop distractions. Veterans, on the other hand, are said to be more skeptical, worrying about how politics might divide an already fragile fan base. One thing is certain, Trump's comment has already accomplished one thing. He's inserted himself into the NFL conversation, and no one can ignore it now. Whether anything materializes from this swirling storm of speculation remains to be seen. But one thing is undeniable. Donald Trump has once again proven his ability to hijack a news cycle with a single sentence. By invoking the Washington Commanders, he's reignited debates not only about his own ambitions, but also about the future of one of the NFL's most turbulent franchises. In a world where sports, politics, and media are increasingly intertwined, this rumor feels like a microcosm of where we are culturally. If Trump's goal was to make people talk, mission accomplished. But if there's something deeper, a plan, a pitch, or even just a personal grudge, only time will tell. Until then, the Commanders will have to weather yet another storm, this one far beyond the football field. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.